You thought you were special, but you're just a sad replacement. Today is the 3rd anniversary of Henry and my wedding. Strangely, I sneaked into the hospital by myself to get an abortion. I looked at the appointment slip in my hand. The date on it had been rubbed out and was now a little wrinkled. The doctor's cold words still echoed in my ears. Are you sure you want to get rid of it? Go home and talk it over with your family. Family? Does Henry count as my family? If he knew I was pregnant, what would he think? Surprise. Or disgust? I dare not think about it. My marriage to Henry has been full of lies and deception from the very beginning. And I, like a fool, have indulged in it and cannot extricate myself. When I returned home, the empty room felt desolate. I threw myself onto the sofa, closed my eyes, and tried to stop thinking about all the messy things. On the table was a record, a birthday present from Henry. He looked at me tenderly and said, I had it custom made for you. It contains the words I want to say to you most. I accepted it with joy, but I never listened to the words on it carefully because I knew that those sweet words might not be for me. The door opened and Henry walked in holding the record. He looked puzzled as he asked, Honey, have you listened to this record yet? I was surprised but acted calm and replied, Not yet, I've been busy. He walked up to me, sat down, and fixed his gaze on me. Honey, are you hiding something from me? I saw your pregnancy test report. A pregnancy test report? How did he see it? My heart skipped a beat. Did he find out something? I smiled casually. A pregnancy test report? You mean that? It's my colleague's. She asked me to take it for her. Henry stared at me as if judging the truth in my words. I clenched my fists nervously, my fingernails sinking deep into the flesh. Really? He asked, not showing any emotion. Then he put the record on the table. You should listen to this record. The songs on it are written for you. I looked at the record and felt a sharp pain in my heart. Written for you? For me or for her? I didn't say anything, but I got up and went into the bedroom. Henry said, Honey, get some rest, from behind me. I didn't turn around or respond. I couldn't sleep. Henry's every move, every glance, every word played over and over in my mind like a knife stabbing my heart. I thought that if I loved him enough I could melt the ice in his heart. But now it seems that I was wrong. I don't know how long it took before I fell asleep in a daze. In the middle of the night I was awakened by a strange perfume. I opened my eyes and found Henry hugging me from behind. He smelled strongly of perfume, not the one I usually wear. I pushed him away sharply, sat up and asked, When did you get back? Why do you smell so strongly of perfume? Henry seemed a little surprised. He rubbed his sleepy eyes and explained, Honey, what's wrong with you? I came back in the afternoon. The perfume smell? It's probably Mamie's. She was hospitalized for a checkup today and I spent the whole day with her. Mamie? Mamie, my heart sank. I was not unfamiliar with that name. She was Henry's sister, a childhood friend who had grown up with him. What's wrong with her? Why is she in the hospital? I tried to make my voice sound calm. It's nothing serious, just a routine checkup, Henry yawned. Honey, don't think about it too much, go to bed early. I looked at him and felt angry. Don't think about it too much? How could I not think about it? Where is she staying? I asked. At home, Henry answered. At home? She's staying in our home. I couldn't hold back any longer and my anger exploded. Henry, what do you mean? You brought her to live in our house? Did you ask my permission? This was the first time I had lost my temper with Henry like this. Henry was stunned. He didn't seem to expect me to be so agitated. Honey, don't be angry. Mamie has no parents. I was worried about her being alone in the hospital, so I brought her back, he tried to explain. No parents. I sneered. Isn't she your sister? Haven't you always loved her like a real sister? Henry fell silent. At that moment the bedroom door was knocked on and a soft voice came from outside. Brother, sister, are you fighting? It was Mamie. I looked at Mamie standing in the doorway wearing a pink nightgown, her long hair draped over her shoulders, looking pitiful. Brother, sister, I'm sorry, did I disturb you? She lowered her head, her voice tinged with a hint of crying. Henry immediately got up, walked over to her and gently comforted her. Mamie, it's fine, don't think about it, go back and rest. I looked at them and felt sick to my stomach. Henry, you tell her to go. I pointed at Mamie and said to Henry. Henry frowned and said, Honey, don't be like this. Mamie is not well and needs someone to take care of her. What does her poor health have to do with me? Isn't it enough that she has you, her big brother, to take care of her? I'm your wife. I almost yelled. Mamie started crying and said, Sister, I'm sorry, I really didn't mean it. I'm just so scared. She was crying, covering her chest with her hands, looking like she might faint at any moment. Henry held her tenderly. Mamie, don't cry, sister didn't mean it that way. He turned his head and looked at me, his tone a little impatient. Honey, will you stop? Mamie is only staying for a few days until she feels better, then she'll go. Just for a few days. I sneered. Henry, do you take me for a fool? Once she moves in, I'm afraid she won't want to leave. Sister, Mamie tried to say something else, but Henry interrupted. That's enough. Henry shouted. Wife, can you stop being so unreasonable? Mamie is my younger sister. It's only natural that I take care of her. I looked at Henry and felt ridiculous. Younger sister? Only natural. Henry, remember, I am your wife. If you really think of her as a sister, you should let her keep her distance. You shouldn't have brought her home and let her into your house. Henry looked at me with mixed feelings. He seemed to want to say something, but in the end he didn't say a word. Brother, sister, stop fighting. It's all my fault. I'm leaving. I'm leaving now, Mamie said, crying, and turned to leave. Henry grabbed her by the arm and said, Mamie, don't go. You're not well, you can't just run off. I watched them fight and I felt scared. Henry let go of her. I ran over and tried to pull Mamie away. But Henry held Mamie tightly and wouldn't let me get near her. Wife, calm down, he yelled at me. I froze when I heard him. I looked at him and I felt strange. Henry, you're shouting at me because of her? I asked, my voice shaking. Henry didn't answer, just holding Mamie tightly. I suddenly felt like a joke. Fine, very well. I took a deep breath and tried to calm myself down. Henry, since you care so much about her, you can live with her. I'll let you. After saying this, I turned around and ran out of the bedroom. I didn't know where I was going, so I just walked aimlessly down the street. The night wind was cold, and when it blew on my body I couldn't help but shiver. I wrapped my coat tighter around me, but I still felt cold. This coldness came from the bottom of my heart. I thought that Henry and I had a marriage that, even if it didn't have love, at least had affection. But now it seems that I was wrong. I took out my phone and tried to call a friend, but I realized that the battery had long since died. I stood on the side of the road watching the cars come and go and felt helpless. What should I do? Where can I go? Suddenly I remembered my pet dog. Norma. Norma was a good dog that Henry and I had raised together. She was obedient and was the only comfort I had in the house. I decided to go back, at least to take Norma with me. I hailed a taxi and went back home. The house was quiet. Henry and Mamie must have gone to bed. I tiptoed into the bedroom, grabbed a few clothes, and went over to Norma's kennel. Norma saw me and immediately wagged her tail excitedly. I picked her up and whispered, Norma, let's go. Just then I heard footsteps. I turned my head and saw Mamie standing in the doorway. She looked at me with a smug smile. Where are you going, sister? She asked. I ignored her and hugged Norma as I tried to leave. Sister, don't go, Mamie stopped me. Brother is still sleeping. He will be sad if you go. I looked at her coldly and said, Mamie, don't pretend. I know exactly what you are thinking. Mamie's smile froze on her face. Sister, what are you talking about? I don't understand. She pretended to be dumb. Mamie's face instantly turned pale. I looked at her and felt only pity. Mamie, don't pretend. Do you really think I'm oblivious to the things you've done? You deliberately used the perfume my brother gave me, wore the clothes my brother liked, and copied the way he liked to look. Do you really think I can't tell? Mamie's body began to tremble and she bit her lip tightly, unable to say a word. I looked at her and felt ridiculous. Mamie, I'm not here to argue. I just want to tell you that I'm leaving this house. You and Henry do what you think is right. After saying that, I hugged Norma and left. I didn't look back. I knew that from that moment on Henry and I were completely over. I took Norma and went back to my parents' house. I told my parents what had happened. They were both angry and sad for me. My father didn't say anything. He knew that right now no words would make me feel better. Dad, Mom, I'm fine, I said, trying not to cry. I've decided that I want a divorce from Henry. My parents both agreed with my decision. Daughter, don't worry, mom and dad will always support you, my father said. I nodded, feeling happy that I knew that I still had my family and friends and that I was not alone. Over the next few days I began to prepare for the divorce. I hired a lawyer to help me with the relevant matters. The lawyer told me that in my situation getting a divorce was not difficult as long as I could provide sufficient evidence to prove the illicit relationship between Henry and Mamie. I began to recall the bits and pieces of my time with Henry, looking for clues that could prove their relationship. I went through Henry's phone and found very intimate chat logs between him and Mamie. I also found love letters written by Mamie to Henry, full of love and longing. I gave all this evidence to my lawyer, who said that it was enough to prove that Henry and Mamie had an illicit relationship. I was relieved. I knew that I would win the divorce. Just when I thought everything was going smoothly, an accident happened. One day I took Norma for a walk in the park. Suddenly Norma broke free from my leash and ran towards the road. I quickly chased after her but saw Mamie standing on the side of the road holding a ham sausage in her hand and teasing Norma. Norma, come here, I shouted. But Norma ignored me and continued to circle around Mamie. My heart sank and I felt uneasy. I walked over to her and tried to take Norma away from her. But then Mamie suddenly screamed and fell to the ground. It hurts. My leg. My leg. She cried out in pain. I froze. I hadn't even touched her, so why had she fallen? At that moment Henry ran over from afar. When he saw Mamie lying on the ground, his face instantly turned pale. Mamie, what's wrong? Where are you hurt? He asked nervously. Mamie pointed at Norma and cried, Brother, it's him. He bit me. Henry looked at Norma with anger in his eyes. Norma, why did you bite Mamie? He asked. Norma whined twice in protest as if she had not bitten anyone at all. I quickly explained, Henry, don't listen to her nonsense. Norma didn't bite her at all. Henry, however, did not listen to my explanation at all. He picked up Mamie in his arms and said to me, You just wait. I won't let you off the hook. After that he left with Mamie in his arms without looking back. I stood there feeling a chill run down my spine. I never expected Henry to believe Mamie so indiscriminately and not even give me a chance to explain. I looked at Norma and Norma looked at me, her eyes full of grievance and incomprehension. I knew that Norma was innocent. But what could I do? I crouched down, hugged Norma, and tears flowed down my face. I took Norma back home feeling depressed. I didn't know what Henry would do to me, but I knew he wouldn't let me off easily. I called my lawyer and told him what had happened. After listening, the lawyer was silent for a while and said, The situation is very unfavorable for you. If Mamie insists that it was Norma who bit her and you don't have proof that Norma didn't bite, you'll probably lose the case. My heart sank. Was I going to lose? Lawyer, is there no other way? I asked. The lawyer thought for a moment and said, There is not an absolute way. You can try to find witnesses or retrieve the surveillance video to see if you can find evidence that is in your favor. I nodded, knowing this was my only hope. I started looking for witnesses, but there weren't many people in the park at the time. Most of them were far away and couldn't clearly see what happened. I went to the property to get the surveillance video, but the property told me that the surveillance camera at the scene of the incident was broken and didn't capture any footage. My hopes were dashed and I felt a wave of despair. Am I going to be blamed for this by Mamie? I locked myself in my room and didn't want to see anyone. I looked at Norma and Norma looked at me, her eyes full of worry. I picked Norma up and whispered, Norma, I'm sorry. I've caused you trouble. Norma seemed to understand what I said and she rubbed her head against my face as if to comfort me. Hugging Norma, I felt a wave of warmth in my heart. I knew that even if everyone betrayed me, Norma would never leave me. Just when I felt desperate, my phone rang. I picked it up and saw it was an unfamiliar number. I hesitated for a moment, but then I answered the phone. Hello, I said. A familiar voice came from the other end of the line. It's me. It was Henry. I froze. Why was he calling me? What do you want? I asked coldly. Henry sounded a little tired. I want to talk to you. What is there to talk about between us? I asked back. Henry was silent for a while and then said, I know you're innocent about what happened with Norma. I was shocked. How did he know? How do you know? I asked. Henry said, I saw Mamie's phone. In her chat history with someone else, she admitted that she deliberately set you up. I felt a burst of surprise that I never imagined that this was the truth. Then why did you believe her? I asked. Henry said I was too impulsive and believed her without investigating carefully. I'm sorry. I apologize to you. I didn't say anything. My heart was filled with mixed emotions. Henry continued, I have already broken up with Mamie and she has already moved out. I still didn't say anything. Henry said, I know you must hate me right now, but I still want to beg you to forgive me. I know I have done a lot of wrong things and hurt you, but I really know I was wrong. I hope you can give me a chance to make up for my mistakes. I took a deep breath and said, Henry, it's over. You don't need to apologize and you don't need to beg for forgiveness. There is no relationship between us. Henry was silent for a long time before he said, I understand. I'm sorry to bother you. Then he hung up. I put the phone down and felt relieved. I knew that Henry and I were really over. After that I started planning my life again. I got a new job, moved to a new place and started a new life with Norma. I tried to forget the past Henry and all the bad things that had happened. I knew that I had to move on and I couldn't keep thinking about the pain of the past. I started to look at life positively, work hard and enjoy life. I joined different social activities, made new friends and expanded my social circle. I learned new skills, improved my abilities and became better. I started enjoying life, every ray of sunshine and every moment with Norma. I gradually got over the past, became more confident and stronger. I know that I am no longer the poor woman abandoned by Henry. I am an independent, strong and confident woman of the new era. My life has just begun. But then a sudden earthquake struck, throwing me back into the midst of chaos. That night I was at home reading a book when the ground started shaking violently. The books on the shelves fell one after the other. I realized that there had been an earthquake and quickly ran to Norma, picked her up and hid under the table. The earthquake lasted a long time and I felt a sense of fear. I didn't know how long the earthquake would last or if I would survive. I held Norma tightly and prayed silently. Suddenly I heard a loud noise and then everything went quiet. The earthquake had stopped. I slowly climbed out from under the table and saw that the house was in a mess. I checked on Norma and was relieved to see that she was unharmed. I turned on my phone to let my family know I was safe, but there was no signal. I went outside and saw that the outside world was in chaos. Many houses had collapsed and the roads were blocked. I saw many people crying, shouting and searching for their loved ones. I felt sad. This earthquake had brought so much suffering to the people. I decided to see if I could help in any way. As I walked along the street, I saw many people who had been injured. I rushed over to help them with their wounds. I saw many people trapped under the rubble. I quickly joined others in digging with our bare hands, hoping to rescue more people. I worked non-stop for a day and a night without sleeping. I was very tired, but I dared not stop. I knew that for every minute I worked harder, I might be able to rescue one more person. Just when I felt completely exhausted, I suddenly heard a familiar voice. Honey. I looked up and saw Henry standing in front of me. He was covered in dust and looked worried. I froze. Why was he here? Honey, are you okay? He rushed over, hugged me and asked nervously. I pushed him away and said coldly, I'm fine. Henry looked at me with mixed emotions. Honey, I'm sorry I was late, he said. I didn't say anything, but I turned around and continued to help those in need. Henry followed behind me and silently helped me with the work. We didn't speak, but there seemed to be an unspoken understanding between us. I knew that even though we had broken up at that moment, we were both working towards the same goal. We were both working for the sake of those affected by the disaster, for the sake of those in need. We are both contributing our own share to the world and society. This earthquake has also allowed us to get to know each other again. We have seen the sparkle in each other's eyes and the kindness and sense of responsibility deep within each other's hearts. The misunderstandings and barriers between us also seem to have vanished at this moment. But does this mean that there is still a chance for us to start again? The rescue work after the earthquake continued for days and nights. Henry and I worked side by side the whole time, but we never spoke. He looked at me with mixed feelings, with guilt, with worry, and with some other emotion I wasn't sure about. It wasn't until the rescue work was over that we had our first real conversation. Are you okay? He stood in front of me, his voice a little hoarse. I'm fine, I replied, not looking at him. I'm sorry, he whispered. I know saying sorry won't undo what happened, but I still want to say it. I'm sorry for being such a jerk. I didn't say anything. Maybe. She told me about you being pregnant, about your miscarriage. His voice was a little choked up. It's my fault. I didn't protect you. I didn't protect our child. I looked up sharply and looked at him. You know everything? He nodded, his eyes red. I know everything. I went to the hospital where you had the abortion and the doctor told me that after the operation you left alone. My heart felt like it had been painfully gripped and the pain made me gasp for breath. Do you remember? The anniversary of our third wedding anniversary, the record you gave me. I tried to make my voice sound calm. I never listened to it because I knew it wasn't written for me. Henry was stunned. He didn't seem to expect me to mention this. He opened his mouth but didn't know what to say. Later I listened to it, I continued. The songs on it were written for Mamie, weren't they? You saw her as your white moonlight while I was just a ridiculous substitute. Henry shook his head violently. Well, that's not true. I admit that I once had a crush on Mamie, but I really love you. I looked at him and I felt like I was being ridiculous. Love me? Henry, when you say love, do you mean you want me to be like someone else's substitute? Do you mean letting me suffer the pain of losing a child? Do you mean letting me be controlled by your white moon? Henry defended himself. I really didn't know at the time. I thought Mamie. Enough. I interrupted him. Henry, you don't need to explain anymore. I don't believe you and I don't want to hear any more of your explanations. I took a deep breath and said, it's over between us. From the moment I left you we were no longer related. Henry looked at me with despair in his eyes. Is it really impossible? He asked, his voice trembling. I didn't answer but silently turned around and left. I returned to my new home and Norma immediately greeted me excitedly. I hugged her, feeling a surge of warmth in my heart. I knew that even if everyone betrayed me, Norma would never leave me. I opened my phone and saw many missed calls and text messages from my family and friends. I replied to each one telling them that I was fine and to rest assured. I put the phone down and began to sort out my thoughts. Was it really over between Henry and me? I asked myself. There seemed to be another voice inside me that said no, it's not over yet. I shook my head and tried to banish that voice from my mind. I knew that Henry and I could never go back to the way things were. Even if he really loved me and even if he really knew that he was wrong, I could never forgive him. I could never forget the pain he caused me or the child I lost. I could never forget that he treated me like someone else's replacement. I could never forget that he left me for Mamie over and over again. I can't forget how he made me feel so desperate and miserable. I can't forget. I held Norma and couldn't hold back the tears. I knew I still needed time to move on and heal. In the following months I tried to stay busy and numb the pain with work. I started new projects, met new colleagues and learned new skills. I tried to improve and become stronger. I tried to forget the past and look to the future. But Henry, like a ghost, kept appearing in my life from time to time. He'd send me text messages, call me, and even wait for me downstairs at my office. He'd send me flowers and gifts and even kneel before me and beg for my forgiveness. But I never paid him any mind. I knew I couldn't go back to the past with him. Then one day I received a phone call from Mamie. Hello, I said. Mamie's voice came from the other end of the line. It's me. I froze. Why was she calling me? What do you want? I asked coldly. Mamie's voice was a little weak. I want to see you. What's there to see between us? I asked in return. Mamie didn't say anything for a moment, then said, I want to talk to you about Henry, about what happened between us. I hesitated but finally agreed to meet at a cafe. When I walked in I saw Mamie sitting by the window. She looked much thinner, her face pale, her eyes red. I walked up to her and sat down. What do you want to say? I asked. Mamie looked at me with a complex expression in her eyes. I'm sorry, she whispered. I know that an apology can't undo what I did, but I still want to say it. I'm sorry that I was so selfish and so cruel. I didn't say anything, just looked at her quietly. Mamie continued, I've done a lot of wrong things. I hurt you and I hurt Henry. I know that now, I really know that. She looked up at me, tears streaming down her face. I didn't come to you today to beg you to forgive me. I just want to tell you that Henry really loved you. He never saw you as someone else's substitute. He always loved you. I was stunned. Her words took me by surprise. What did you say? I asked. Mamie wiped away her tears and said, I said that Henry always loved you. He never saw me as his white moonlight, he just saw me as a younger sister. The reason he married you was because he loved you. The reason he gave you that record was because he wanted to express his love to you. The reason he defended me again and again was because he felt sorry for me. He felt that I had no parents and needed someone to take care of me. The reason he broke up with you was because he felt that he was not good enough for you. He felt that he had done too many wrong things and hurt you. He didn't feel that he was qualified to be with you anymore. The reason why he keeps pestering you is because he can't let you go, he can't forget you. He is actually a very silly, stupid person who is very bad at expressing his feelings. Mamie's words shocked me. I always thought that Henry saw me as someone else's substitute, and I always thought that the person he loved was Mamie. But now Mamie is telling me that this is not the truth. I suddenly remembered what Henry once told me. He said he loved me. He said he would make up for his mistakes. He said he hoped I would give him a chance. I realized that I may have misunderstood him. I may have wronged him. I looked at Mamie and asked, is what you said true? Mamie nodded. It's all true. I have no need to lie to you because I have already lost him. I just want you to know the truth so that you will no longer misunderstand him. I was silent for a long time before I said, thank you for telling me this. Mamie smiled, but it looked a little bitter. You don't have to thank me. I just hope that you can be happy. After saying that, she got up and left. I sat in the coffee shop, unable to come back to my senses for a long time. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't sure if I should believe Mamie. I wasn't sure if I should forgive Henry. I didn't know what to do, so I dialed Henry's number. The phone rang for a long time before it was answered. Oh, Henry's voice sounded hoarse and tired. It's me, I said. Henry was taken aback. He didn't seem to expect me to call him. What do you want? He asked. I took a deep breath and said, Henry, let's meet.